in this piece, when Sean asked us to write around 9/11, I wrote a new piece that basically addresses all of the different iterations of war in my own family, because that's basically what came up, and also my own history as a Filipino American. And for one, you know, my family had generations that were fighting in war or died in war. My grandfather was in World War II, and Japan occupied, you guys may or may not know this, occupied the Philippines from 1941 to 45, and there was a lot of violence done, and also there has been a family member who died in the ongoing civil wars in the Philippines, in the southern Philippines. And the other fact is that the U.S. occupied the Philippines from 1899, the Philippines fought against the U.S. From 1898 to 1913, and that's the Philippine American War that's referenced. Ask a Filipino if she or he has military in her history. Your answer most likely is, yesterday I thought about what turbans meant before 9/11. Pieces of cloth used to guard against the desert, heat, and sun. What was the color brown before 9/11? A tarnish, tan, a misfit tag, already tainted. Slave, the savage. Dirt, the burden to be saved, the slave. Already the enemy. Bayonet, noun. A steel blade attached at the muzzle end of a shoulder arm as a rifle and used in hand-to-hand combat. When the Japanese came to their hideout home, my grandmother quick thought, or so the story goes, to put mercurochrome in the piss pot, and my grandfather coughed. At the thought of contagion, the soldiers backed. Imagine water swirled a yellow-toned red, gathered sweat, a neutral mouth, and steady eyes. Thou shalt not lie unless it spares you the point of bayonet. A water bucket filled from a hand pump. An oily swirl like puddles at the gas station, aftermath of serviced U.S. flying machines and the cocks of pasty men wanting young virgin cunts, or to be loved. The perimeter of Clark pockmarked with bars and almond-eyed children never to know their fathers. Lola walked the death march where the sharp tips of bayonets kept them in line, or else. A fallen body left to fester in the sun and mud-filled gutter, harden against the shove, the thirst become like dry, dry desert. Even in this tropical hell, his home. MacArthur promises return. We must be saved by someone. Back in 1898, they saved us from our savage selves. We must be saved again, this time from the point of bayonet. The Philippine American War. Have you heard of it? Most people haven't. It's locked in the same safe as the other forgotten atrocities committed by the USA. The United States is marked in history as purchasing us from Spain. Effaced are the Filipino bodies thrown into trenches and left to rot. They called us niggers and rabbits. 600,000 deaths over 14 years. I don't like the word casualty, it sounds too casual. You never read about this, do you? We always wanted independence. Now they'd have you think we all want to be white, want to be the enemy, believe we could not rule ourselves. They called us sullen children, did you know that? The white man's burden, ring a bell? Pears soap to clean our stubborn dark. They put us in human zoos to show the world how savage we were, just short of Otabenga in the animal park. Some of us died on the boats from the Philippines. They gave us nothing to wear over our loincloths, contracted pneumonia, and never made it to the promised land. And now I'm going to switch to my handy paperless iPhone. I hate it when people use their iPhone, but oh well. This is the only place that I have my poem. So, so that last reference, so I kind of go all over history, and that last reference is from the World's Fair of 1904, when Filipinos were displayed in St. Louis, and I've been doing a lot of writing around that. So this is called With Compliments, and this is written to the image in the Judge magazine, June 11th, 1898, entitled, "Now that I've got it, what am I going to do with it?" Uncle Sam's angular hands curve round, black bum, ankle bracelets of bronze jangle to the rhythm of kicks and sobs, lipstick lips outline, black open mouth, viscous tears snake over ebony cheeks, over garland of broken shells, over poor Philippine baby, kinky hair and bulbous head, rocking, rocking, paper flapping on a thread, like a flag or a moored tag. Philippines with compliments of Dewey. And there's another short. This is an older one I wrote when I was at Mills, actually. Some of you guys. Okay. The Other Uncle. And he was the one who lived in the back house with Lolo before he passed, the one who could not stand the angled stance, the weapon wielding, the violent, the death of war, who left before being stationed, even after being molded into the soldier, even after the marching and the eating at the mess hall with a mechanical motion, even after. He wanted to be like Lolo, the colonel, I imagine, and maybe like my other uncle who died when I was in the womb, the one who fought in war and was killed in the Holo jungle, unknown perpetrator. And I know this is a normal product of war, but then I found his books filled with poetry and drawings, and they say that the other uncle and I share the same eyes, but not this one. This one disappears every so often to check himself in. This one who watched my other uncle become paralyzed. This one who had relationships but then none after none. And this one, I remember the day I heard him yelling out on Del Monte Avenue, and then a crash against metal, and the next day his hand bandaged. And once he took me to the mall, and he was like an uncle, but now he tells me there's something evil, something demon in him, and I can only look at him without turning away and say, no, there isn't. And then here's my last, that's fresh from the press of my mind. Okay. It's called Where We Occupy, and I wrote it on Halloween, and so it's, I was just feeling all the stuff going on at Occupy, London, etc. Where We Occupy, inspired by June Jordan. Projectile, canister, fracture, crack, baton, bullet, tear gas, attack, rise, remote, display, destroy, disturb the peace on native soil, return, release, unsettle, sleep, unrest, the dead, upset, unseat, veils, oya, elegba, watch, bathala, Christ, diwata, cross, bari, tabipo, remember those whose names I do not know. Thank you.